Darwin, Negros Island, Philippines. Some large cargo ships are waiting for their turn to dock at Dukomi Pier. For the crew, the pier represents a sort of refuge after a long time spent at sea. A temporary home where they can spend the time it needs to load and unload. It is difficult to think that the landscape can change so much when you go down below the surface. But underwater, between enormous pillars which like columns of a temple rise from the seafloor, a kaleidoscope of sea life has found its home. The Philippines, an archipelago made up of more than 7,000 islands, most of which are uninhabited. They are situated in the Pacific Ocean and surrounded by a wonderful coral reef. This is a kingdom of biodiversity. The aspect of the beach in Baikong is radically different from the idea of a tropical paradise we usually associate these islands with. The imposing bulk of Dukomi Pier marks the landscape profoundly. All operations relating to the flourishing coconut oil industry are carried out on this very pier. Thanks to its isolated position along a stretch of sandy coast, and due to the fact fishing has been banned so as not to interfere with harbour work, the pier has become a refuge for marine fauna, an oasis where species that are rare elsewhere live undisturbed. The pier's pillars create an intricate maze. Light enters like incandescent blades, a temple where nature displays itself in her endless imagination. Sea fans, sponges, soft corals and black corals have colonized the cold concrete and transformed it into a colored forest. These organisms take advantage of a favorable position to feed upon material transported by sea currents. Shoals of fish swim in the semi-darkness, carrying out graceful choreographies. Many organisms find a refuge, a cave here. They can be compared to inhabitants of a complex condominium, where the only rule is to eat and to survive long enough to reproduce. There are those who prefer to live on the higher floors of this condominium, like the Antennariidae. They are also called frogfish, and they have chosen a strategy based on mimicry and immobility. At night, they go down to the lower floors to hunt. They move their bait rhythmically, trying to attract their prey close to their mouth. Their mouth can become alarmingly large. Shellfish are very discreet inhabitants as well. They are small and barely protected from predatory fish. During the day, they hide in anemones and sponges. The harlequin shrimps feed solely on starfish and store their venom. This becomes their protection, allowing them to display a flashy livery. On the lower floors, a large number of strange animals gather in the sand. The shower of organic matter, the waste of the inhabitants of the upper floor, is recycled by worms, mollusks and shellfish on the sea floor and starts another food chain. In a flat environment, many species have adapted themselves to slither, walk and hobble. Pegasus fish are ancient relatives of seahorses. Their extendable mouth allows them to catch small shellfish. Their colour and their immobility disguise them perfectly. The dragonet keeps incessantly looking for food in the sand. The demon stinger has venomous spines. He is a naturally solitary fish and only meets his fellows on rare occasions. During the day, he hides in the sand. Trying to attract as little attention as possible is the rule. The shape, colour and wave-like movements of the ghost pipefish make them appear as leaves of sea plants, helping them pass unnoticed. The pier is a place where nature has expressed herself to the fullest. Unusually shaped fish share this strange environment. Some fish with venomous spines, like the lionfish, signal their toxicity with bright colours. This prevents them from being attacked. Coloration used as a warning sign. This is the biological meaning of the colours of the nudibranchs. They are poisonous when ingested. The pillars of the pier, rich in sponges and sea squirts, are an ideal place for finding food and mating partners. For many other organisms, the pier, with its quiet waters, is the ideal place to give birth to their offspring. While many fish abandon huge amounts of eggs to the sea currents, the male Bangai cardinalfish incubates them in his mouth, thus protecting them from predators until they hatch. The yellowhead jawfish is a solitary and territorial fish. The male accepts the female in his cave only for mating, then chases her away. He collects the fertilized eggs in his mouth and keeps them there until they hatch. Today, Dukomi Pier, which is now famous all over the world, is one of the top destinations for the flourishing underwater tourist industry. Rules and restrictions imposed by naval traffic have inadvertently originated an important heritage to uphold. In a short time, thanks to solid artificial structures, sea currents and shelter from light, the underwater community has taken possession of an environment that was built for other purposes and turned it into a spectacular and original landscape. A few meters from the harbour at work, with its continuous mooring and subsequent pollution, the diversity of life has been able to colonize the unattractive work of man and transform it into a real sanctuary, sharing the space in a harmonious fashion among hundreds of different species.